And we are live. So we are nearing the end of the road to redemption. We are 2 days out. We picked up Phil from the airport this morning. We're at the Crown Plaza Hotel. This is where I'm gonna get tan. This is where I'm gonna compete. And it turns out they got a pretty sick little gym downstairs. So we're gonna get our final workout in. As you guys know, through this whole process of this prep, my trainings have been my refeeds, and Phil and I learned this last prep, how to do this. It was part of our protocol last time. It's how we would refeed each training session. And the most important factor was the final training session, which led into the show. It was the difference between taking second at this show last year and winning the overall at the Kuko Classic. And that was timing, how I looked each day after a training session. And that third day is when the magic happened. So here we are. We're gonna get our final workout in and start off the peaking process. So Phil's gonna put me through a workout, which is gonna be much different than obviously my normal heavy duty style training. And the purpose for it is different. So yeah, this is the hotel gym. Turn around, babe, and show them all the. It's pretty interesting for a hotel. Got a lot of nice cardio equipment. Thank God I'm finished with all that mess.
Cable.
But here we have the playground. And I was skeptical when, my wife looked it up and said, they have a gym, a nice gym. And then Phil messages me like, did you see the gym? And I'm like, okay, well, it'll have a few things. But honestly here, we got everything we need. I mean, we got a nice cable station. We got a Smith press.
Nobody to bother us.
Nobody to bother us. It's all hoist stuff, which isn't crazy, but again, they got the nice cable racks over there with the 3 different seats for back. I mean, that's a solid setup. That's one that I use at P5. It's the same exact one. I mean, hell, you even got a fucking power platform. We got dumbbells that go up to 100. I could get a heavy duty workout, but that's not what I'll be doing today. So Phil, what am I going to be doing today? What are we doing and why?
So, as you guys know, if you follow this channel, the training days are his refeed days, aka his insulin days. So for today, he's flat. This is the flattest he's going to be. Maybe tomorrow morning he may be flat, and we'll adjust it from there. The whole point of this workout is to force as much blood, as much glycogen, as much nutrients into his muscles completely. This way he starts expanding, drying out. Also heat up his body temperature, burn some calories in there, and still honestly get drier and harder and grainier, and then pose it out and make the muscles come to life. So that's what we're gonna do.
That's what we're gonna do. And I remember we did it at Destination Dallas last time.
It was freezing.
It was fucking freezing. And a funny story, to try to carb up, for the insulin before training, normally I would eat Rice Krispies. Well, they had this little store that was built into the apartment complex where we had the Airbnb. And I go down there and they were selling these homemade Rice Krispie treats. Worst mistake of my life. I remember throwing it out of the window on the I-95.
A brick.
Yeah, it bounced off the road. Anyway, I was so sick to my stomach. My belly swelled up so bad. It was freaking horrible. So today, my stomach feels so much better. I had 400 grams of rice about an hour and 20 minutes ago. Went down like smooth. Had my Fig Newtons. I'm sipping on my carb drink now. And we're watching my body change, and I haven't even put on a single pound yet, lifted anything. And this is gonna be fun. So I'm pumped, I'm stoked. Where you wanna start, baby? Let's get it.
Let's do it.
Oh, I don't have my mic, so you tell them what we're doing.
So right now we're doing an underhand lat pull down, which hits back, also biceps at the same time. And we're gonna go balls to the walls to fill everything out here.
Oh my God. Oh. 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 Where to next?
Go right into those assisted pull-ups.
Oh. Assisted pull-ups?
Yep.
Right here?
Yep.
Fuck. What grip?
Let's do a normal grip, like not too wide, right? What about here? These ones shoot for like 15, 20 reps. So whatever,
I'm not counting, bro.
whatever weight you think you could do for that. Hold it. Good, now catch your breath, and then we're gonna go through some of your back poses. There you go. Yeah, that's wicked.
Oh.
Take a couple steps back. Let's see this closer. There we go. Go back.
Oh.
Do your back double bicep again for me if you can. Perfect. my God. Oh my God. Quick, go right into the 10s. Do them together. I can't go past that. Good. Doing wide grip upright rows. We're gonna hit some delts, rhomboids, pretty much everything up top shelf in the rear. Get as much blood in there as possible. Look at those delts striating.
Rest pause.
Yep. One more rest pause. Oh, no, no. Okay.
All right, so just finished the workout. The gym started filling up with people. I had my pants off. Felt out of place. Hit another set. But man, my belly was so full. You know, the meal I had in past, I was drinking a smoothie before I would come with my 120 grams of carbs in it. Didn't have access to that today, so I did 2 whole cups of rice, 400 grams of rice, 200 chicken, hour and 15 minutes before. Then I ate 2 Fig Newtons, had this half gallon of fluid with 120 grams of carbs in it. So yeah, the high density sets with the supersets and everything else, plus pounding that. Just yeah, belly super freaking full. So sitting out, the gym is right there. So we came out to the pool and we're just gonna lounge for a bit, let my tummy settle, and then I'm gonna hit some poses in the sun, force the rest of those carbohydrates into the muscle via posing, which is how this is how we fill out for the peak. You know, it's something Phil and I have been doing for years. You know, that's how we do it. It's low stress. It doesn't build a lot of fatigue. It's not going to build up any inflammation. We eat, we pose. We eat, we rest, we pose. We eat, we rest, we pose. You know, and every time we pose, we assess, and that's what we see is what we're going to eat next. So again, this workout is the start of the peaking process. I'm already dramatically drier than when I walked into the gym. I mean, my skin just gets thinner and thinner. The muscle fills up, pushes against it. You know, we're going to start the manipulation with the carbs, dry me out more and more and more. And excited to see what we're going to bring, man. My legs got quite a ways to fill up, but they're on the path for sure. More lines than yesterday. They just need to fill out. They were pulled down for a long time with all that cardio. So, but we'll get it there. This is what happened last year. My legs were the last thing to fill out. I had this one quad that would not engage until the morning of the show. It would not engage properly until the morning of prejudging.
It was
Remember
dynamite.
that shit?
Dynamite.
Yeah, then it was dynamite. But boy, all those times he would say, "You gotta flex that quad. You gotta flex that quad." I'm like, "I'm trying, man. I'm squeezing as hard as I can, but it just didn't have enough carbs in it or something." So these are all things we're aware of. But what's really cool, what we're seeing on the quads is the feathering and the cross striation.
Yes, we already have those.
Yeah, and that was something that was, you know, it was there last year, but nowhere
amount.
near this prominence. You could tell they were gonna be there in the future. 'Cause they were underneath, but right there in the gym, they were strong. You know, I mean, it's cross striated, both legs, no doubt. It's just a little bit on this, what do you call that? What's that little horn-looking muscle in the middle, the medius, vastus medius?
Vastus means lateral.
Vastus lateralis. But yeah, that little muscle, it's a little muddy. That's one way we could tell as the leg fills up, that part of the quad becomes clear. That way when I'm gonna flex that leg we're talking about, everything's gonna show through really well. So other than that, I mean, my back seems to be a lot harder than it has been in the past. You know, I felt like my back would tend to stay a little softer, especially than my front, but this year it feels like they're even. My back is really grainy and, oh God, I'm supposed to throw up, grainy and really veiny. Like I've never seen my back that nasty, which is really exciting. And again, we're just getting started, so it's like, it's gonna be really cool.
Today is what I would say is this is like halfway loading, and the third and fourth phase is drastic steps ahead, and that will happen overnight, waking up, and then it will happen, I would say, hourly as we go on Friday night into Saturday morning, and Saturday morning it doesn't stop. That's why when it comes to peaking people, you see so many things go wrong with so many athletes, because they'll have someone say, "Hey, you know what? Take this half a diazide. Call me in the morning."
No.
The problem is with that is call in the morning is too little, too late. You see what he looks like. Guy could disappear in 40 minutes, and then what are you going to do there over the phone? You can't see much with the pictures. Can't see much with if he's actually soft. Did he spill over? Is he flat? What's the actual deal? And if you're with the person and having the program done almost meal to meal, not having someone give you a program, this is what you're peaking. It has to be eat, then it has to be pose, force the carbs to go somewhere, tighten the skin, get the skin tighter, sweat out some more water. You don't want to be sweating on stage. The time to do it is before. You don't want to be shaking up there like a leaf and looking like you got cut from your throat with a tan. So what we do is, and how we do it is eat, let food go down, then we pose, assess, redo. And this way, if anything, let's say he does take a diuretic, which last year we didn't even need to. I don't like using them if you don't need them. If you're thoroughly in shape, if you need them, it should be minimal, because if you're in shape, you don't have much water holding, so you're only going to take intramuscular cellular water out of, so it's only going to be flatter.
Yeah.
So my thing is, be ready ahead of time. You can't fill up fat, but you can fill out flat. And the best thing to do really is have every meal on deck, basically knowing what you're going to have, but never prepared and set in stone. Every meal can change hour to hour. A person's mood can change, gets into a fight with his girlfriend, now you got to adjust the plan again. Things and everything has to be, that's why if someone says, "Here you go," you know that coach does not care. And if someone else says, "Oh, well, my coach just gives me the plan, he said this works for," it doesn't work every time. Every program and every year is different. His body this year, his his drug protocol this year. Everything this year is different than it was last year. So nothing, if I gave him the same, will work the exact same way, considering every variable is different. So especially his quads being much larger this year, his adductors filling out, he's going to need more fuel. So if I gave him something similar to the same as last year, we're not going to have it.
It wouldn't be enough. Yeah.
Basically, that's how we do our peaks, and that's really how it should do for everyone, how it should be. I'm tired of seeing people with this is what you could eat. Even if the coach isn't with you, and you can't afford your coach to come with you because it's expensive, and it costs a lot of money to have someone come with you. The best thing to do is literally what I do with him when he did the show by himself. Is you be up at 5 a.m. with that client, you see what they look like, and then you go every other hour posing and seeing what they look like picture to picture to decide that meal, even through your backstage. And that's what we've done since we started working together, and that's what we've done now. And that's how it should be run. There is no leaving unattended and just checking me, let me know how you do in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, I wrote it all out for you.
Yeah.
Just do
impossible.
it. Just follow your plan. Well, that is not that. No.
If it worked that well, then everyone would peak perfectly.
You give a plan to somebody for week to week basis. Like through the course of the prep, yeah, you got a plan for weeks 6 through 7, and you check in at the end of the week and we see what the weight dropped, how fatigue accumulated on the body. Okay, what needs to happen next? The peaking process is a totally different thing. Like he said, there's so many variables and factors that are so critically important because this is a by the hour change in variables. So stress, you start worrying about the show, you're going to look different.
Overly walking around.
Overly moving. Yeah.
Yep.
Everything could be different, and you might think, well, I just had to go out I'm just going to go out and get a couple more things that I need and ride around the store. Bro, that changes it. So when I'm chilling like this or when we get ready for a show, I make sure I have an adequate number of days that I can literally be as still as possible. It's going to be even better this year because I'm at the venue where I'm competing. So when it's time to tan, I walk downstairs. I don't have to get and worry about a schedule, go and drive across town, wait in line, worry about getting back to the room so that I can eat again and then take pictures. In the past, those are all things that, and listen, when you're this deep in, and you've been dieting and you've been preparing, all of those little things stress you out so much more than would for a normal person. Because it is kind of dire, you got to be ready for that moment. That you don't want to botch it. There's so many little different things you're having to worry about all at the same time. They all affect you differently. So again, the peaking process is very meticulous. It's very precise, and it cannot be written out in a plan. And I really like what you were saying about diuretics. Diuretics are not selective. You cannot just take a diuretic and it wipe the water off of your surface layer and you're good to go. They do not work that way. And like you said, and what does most of these protocols include? Oh, half a diazyme before bed, or you take your diuretic at night before the show, and you wake up the next morning, and God only knows what could have happened overnight. Yeah. So if you were going to take it, and I think we did this before, but you would take it midday and see how you look before you go to sleep. When it's already stopped working, and you've assessed what the first dose did. So there would be like midday on the Friday, it's worked. You've combated it if you needed to. If it pulled too much water, you added more water in, or you added more carbohydrates and it flattened you out, and you see where you're at to go to sleep. If it worked beautifully and you tracked it, then you could say, all right, let's do a half of a quarter before bed.
Yeah, and what the problem is with the diuretics, a lot of coaches are afraid to feed the clients on it.
Yes.
And give them liquids, because they'll say, oh, you still look like you're holding water. In reality is you're actually just flat, so you look smooth. You may be missing sodium, tons of it. You may just be actually needing water so your cell fills out. So the difference between thinking someone looks flat and actually needing to feed the medication that you just gave the person is a big issue that people are afraid to overfeed their clients. If someone is in shape, unless you are feeding them like an asshole, meaning burgers, fries, and all these other bullshit you see these people eating, that they always come on stage looking like shit.
Yeah, give them food at the last minute they didn't have the entire prep. What could go wrong?
Yeah, it's got to be something. The best thing to do, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts, or these new tricks that this is what works the last thing. Is if you can digest the food, the whole prep, your body knows where to assimilate it, where to put it. Your body knows everything. It's used to it. Give it the same food, just more quantities, maybe more salts, more minerals, especially when it comes to the diuretic. Feed the drug, even with the water. You need water. You can't completely cut it dry unless you're one of those freaks that can, but 99% of us aren't. So you need that water to give right back into the cell if the diuretic did do too much damage.
So that's a good point, and this is something we talk about on the show a lot, is that where everyone is fucking up is they're emulating the freaks. I think that a lot of these protocols on paper come from gurus who work with freaks who could literally do anything and look better than the other 99%. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, you could fucking throw diuretics at these dudes and tell them not to take water in, and hey, they'll still come out and look badass. And, hey, that works. That's how such and such does it. Well, I mean, look, guys, my boy Big Slank, he worked with Chris Aceto. Chris Aceto ruined his peak. How did he ruin his peak? Told him to take a bunch of fucking diuretics right at the night before. Why would Chris Aceto do that? Hey, maybe it worked on all the other freaks he was using. You know what I mean? So, like, a lot of that shit comes from the ignorance of just copy-pasting shit. You can't copy-paste a peak protocol. No. It doesn't work like that. You're going to get fucked up. That's why you don't copy-paste people's training. You got to track your own shit. You got to find out what you can handle, what your rate of recovery is. Same thing like Phil was saying, like fucking Lee Haney will walk around telling you to eat sweet potatoes for every meal. Go ahead and try that, bud. Your belly will be as big as my back, and you won't digest shit. But hey, Lee Haney was an 8-time Mr. Olympia.
2 weeks out, won't be able to go to the bathroom even worse.
We'll be able to take a shit.
Than the normal.
Yeah, so
the normal at the end.
Yeah, or copy Arnold stuff. When
that's it.
He even admitted that he told his fellow competitors to do erroneous shit so that he would trick them and fuck them up. Yeah. So yeah, it's all good stuff, man. Well, I think my belly's settled enough. I don't want to sit out here too long. Probably need to take all my clothes off and pose.
Do it.